adventurers are holed up in the inn. We got to plan our attack on them. And so they get reverse dungeon you.
Wow.
If you're not careful.
That's interesting.
So he says, that is the way my DM ran it.
Okay.
It's a very deployable module. I mean, it is, if you run it and you put it away and then you pull it off your shelf for any reason, years later, you can run it again. Yeah. It is so useful. You put so much stuff in that. It is like, we can purloin this. We can take this room. We can use this. So, I mean, it was like, it's still gold. That module.
That's awesome to hear.
Yeah,
it is.
That's really nice. And I think, I mean, part of it was, as I said, it was the first thing I ever wrote for publication. And I'm sure I spent more time on it than I did in future when I have a 6 or 8 week window to write a module. I probably had a half a year to work on that one because there were no other projects on the schedule. And so I was kind of lucky to be in the right place at the right time to get to write the one module brief that Gary had approved. That was set in, I believe, in Greyhawk, but only peripherally in Greyhawk. I mean, it's supposed to be in Greyhawk, but it wasn't really tied to Greyhawk. And it was just
Hannibal Lane and the Rushmores.
That's right.
I was on the Living Greyhawk Triad during 3rd edition for the Grand Duchy of Jeff. So that was actually put in the Grand March region. So we always kept hearing rumors about the reptile god is coming back and the Rushmores and what's going on with all of that down there. And everyone was like, don't go to Orlane.
There's a funny thing about the title of that module. It was called The Cult of the Reptile God. The brief was of Cult of the Reptile God, the outline, the design I did. But right about then, all of the public relations stuff started blowing up about D&D and about kids getting, wandering around in the sewers.
Panic.
Yeah.
Panicking. So they said, we don't want to make this sound like we're advocating joining a cult. So let's change the name to Against the Cult of the Reptile God. And that's literally what they did. It was basically written. And they said, okay, it's not the Cult of the Reptile God anymore. It's Against the Cult of the Reptile God. Didn't really change anything, but, for PR purposes, that was done.
Well, you would think that calling it a reptile god would pretty much show you that it's not real.
Well, you would think, yeah, but...
That was wild times back then.
Yeah,
But then again, you do have Quetzalcoatl, so...
And they thought the Lost Caverns of Solchant was like a recipe, an instruction manual.
Another one. I love that one.
I grew up in the deep South, and so I caught a lot of it. And
Me too.
Heavens.
I was one of those people that hid in the shadows. You hid in the shadows.
Twist this hard to get to what you needed to say.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, I hid in the shadows in Texas and didn't show anybody my dice or anything like that. No. You don't play.
Texas
I don't play
has shadows?
Yes. It's behind the cows.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Doug, how you holding up, buddy?
I'm hanging in there.
Okay. You got one more in you?
So.
Oh, yeah, for sure, yeah.
Just so you know, if you're having a good time, which I hope you are, it looks like you are, we can do stop this here pretty soon and then do it again.
Yeah.
And continue.
I mean, I must say, I'm really enjoying you guys. It's
good. We're having a good time.
Ed is, Ed's got some serious charisma behind him.
Ed's always a good time.
Yes.
Behind me?
No.
Who's behind me? There a woman behind me? Damn.
Yeah, he's got an 18 charisma. No, but you guys too. I've never, like I said, I've never seen Eric's face before, but we've conversed on a lot of computer conversation, and all you guys. So I would be glad to do this again. I am feeling my age, so But you guys are in the Eastern time zone, so I kind of feel like a wimp by saying, "Well, it's 8:30 here."
It's okay because as soon as we're done, I'm going to go in there and put my granddaughter to bed. So
Okay.
I'll be
going to sleep in about an
unconscious
hour
like
anyway.
5 minutes after.
Yeah. Hey, isn't being a grandparent like the best job you've ever had?
I always thought that was a stupid saying, but I got to tell you, if I knew they were this much fun, I would have had them first.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah, we have 2 grandsons that live right in Madison with us, and we spend a lot of time with them, and it's a blast.
Yeah. Oh, they're great. And I have two little girls. They're 2 little girls. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
They're I don't know if you guys have heard about Dragon Days in Lake Geneva. They've only had it two Octobers now. This was the second one. It's a very small scale game convention to celebrate, because Lake Geneva is where D&D was invented, and this was the 50th anniversary. So my old boss colleague Harold Johnson told me about it, and invited me to come down there, and I made a little basic level D&D direction adventure, and we took the grandsons, and for one thing, they had like 40 booths in their dealer area. It was all it's in the lakeshore by the Lake Geneva Library. It was a beautiful setting.
I know where it is, yeah.
My 9-year-old grandson, who we had taken to a Renaissance fair last summer, said this really reminded him of a Renaissance fair. And then we went to the old horticultural hall where the first Gen Cons were held in Lake Geneva. And so he sat and played a dwarf in a adventure that lasted about 2.5 hours. And he said it was a blast. And so introducing my grandson to the game that way was just like a real treat.
Sure,
think about it. This is something you helped create too. I mean, it sprung from Ed's loins, as they say. But you grabbed a hold of those loins and you shook them.
I never did anything like that.
Jeff, the poor man comes on the show and you lie in wait for him. No.
But yeah, I know where you're coming from.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say. I'm just being colorful about it. So.
Yeah, really off colorful.
Off colorful about it. It's okay. It's okay.
It's all good. It's all good.
Curry, we had one more question there, I think.
Okay, from Tom Costa. He wants to know, what was your favorite part of the Moonshades, or a part that you thought was the most clever part that maybe didn't get quite enough attention, or places you'd hope folks would run with more often in the Moonshades?
That's a really good question. The one thing flashed in my brain when I heard the question. I had a dog that was a fantasy hero in Canthus, I think was his name, a big like Irish wolfhound dog. Sure. And I actually consciously try to do the tropes of what a fantasy hero does and make that dog do, including going to, I don't know if it was a dire wolf or it was a big monster that he goes and faces in mano a mano or kano a combat. And anyway, that was one of the things, and I have actually had a lot of dogs in my fantasies, the Dragonlance and stuff like that. But I think that was the first time, and I'm sure other people have done it too, but I don't recall ever encountering that at the time in anybody else's book where a dog was truly going through the character arc of a fantasy hero. So that was something I was quite proud of, and I guess the rest of it would be more cliche. I like the love story that was there, and it's well, and then like I said, the Sisters of Sonoria, they were pretty darn cool, also.
All right,
I like that. Your favorite part maybe have been the sisters. Then it sounds like.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. But I do remember that dog putting him through some paces, through some shit.
And that was your dog. You wrote about your dog, or just a fictional dog?
Well, my ideal dog. I've always had dogs. They've always had a few more flaws. I've never had an Irish wolfhound, but he was he was an archetype.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice. I like that.
We apparently that a lot of other people agreed with you about that dog because that was the one request we got.
Really,
everyone wanted to have one of those big moorhounds, and we're like, I can't under the AL rules. There's no rules for this cool. The dog is too cool.
yeah. Well, and
So it has to be an NPC.
that's part of the thing, and that might also get to the root of the Furbolg controversy, if there's a controversy, is that as a novelist, you don't feel necessarily bound to the game rules. And that's probably what happened with the Furbolg, is when I wrote them, I used the game concept of the Furbolg as the baseline, but I added, as I wrote, I added bells and whistles that were not in the game rules and that probably made them somewhat divergent. And same thing with the Warhound. I don't think there was any particular exact game equivalent of that dog in there, but I'd like to think it was in the spirit of the rules.
Right.
Well, guys, I think because of that, we have great idea for our next show. We've done a couple of shows where we've invited authors and developers on, and we've done item creation and spell creation. I think this gives us a great canvas for doing creature creation and stat blocking.
Yeah.
And I think the fans would really enjoy. Okay, well, what is a moonshaped furbolg exactly? What defines it as such? And let's talk about this war dog. Let's get some stats on this, and let's get into the minutia. I think creature creation show would be awesome.
Can we throw Kazgaroth on the pile too?
Oh, wow. That's really heavy duty.
Oh,
that's a one of a kind.
How much of a Tarask is it? Is it all Tarask, or is it
more
than a Tarask?
As a designer, immediately my mind goes Spawn of Kazgaroth. In other words, a lesser version rather than, because once you kill the one, it's gone.
Yeah.
So,
or Spawn of Kazgaroth. That's a great one. I like that.
Yeah.
That's why you always wrote in you couldn't kill Kazgaroth.
Well, you see, it just
comes back.
There's the thing. Yeah, and isn't that a cheat? If you know what I mean?
When
you're playing, because half your party dies or is down to 1 hit point from fighting the thing. Is he's back? Oh, gee.
Well, it's not quite that easy.
Yeah,
he's got to let his evil germinate for a bit.
Ooh.
I'm going to have to do some more homework. I'd be happy to do this again, but I want to brief myself on some of the stuff I wrote 35 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah.
I can see you're reading and going, damn, this Doug Niles is a nice guy. Wait, that's me. Okay.
I had 2 friends who read that book, and both had one said, "Stop calling her a maiden." I guess I overdid that. And another one said, what's this with the folk?
Yeah.
Oh,
you still get that question today.
Oh, I've got to tell you, I've got to share my story because no one will have heard it. This is a Lorraine Williams story.
Speaking of Buck Rogers.
And we're setting up at Gen Con. And she's striding around, my loyal troops, do this, do that. And a banner is being put up that has Moonshays on it, at the booth. One of the paper banners. And somebody says, "What's that?" And she says, "Oh, that's just foolery, but it's fun." So you caught her imagination. Because
that actually makes me like her more.
Yeah, exactly. Because most of this stuff, she gave off the vibe, whether it was true or not. I don't know, and I don't care. It's just something we publish. I don't know.
Exactly. Yeah, she totally had that vibe.
Yeah, but this one, she was explaining to someone from outside the company, somebody else she was seeing at the show and knew, and of course, it was okay for me to be a hanger-on because she didn't know me as an employee, so she wasn't going to clam up in front of me because I didn't count. And she said that, and I thought, oh, that's really cool. But I forgot because you weren't there to tell you about it, and I thought, oh, here's my chance after all these years.
Oh, thank you, Ed. You just made my night, man. That's she was, and for all of our griping about her, she saved the company.
Yeah.
I mean, TSR was going to go down like the Titanic until she bought it.
Yeah.
And so everybody got paid and everybody got to keep working. And so we had a boss that wasn't a gamer and was, only like mildly interested in the product we did, but we actually had somebody who had money who was paying the bills. So, I can't, turn my nose up at that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I thought you should know she, that caught her funny bone, so she remembered
What was that? Is it foolery?
Yeah. It's just fun. Some foolery that we published. I thought, wow, because that for somebody who isn't used to speaking like that, that's hard to get your tongue around and do. And she did it, which meant this has been sitting in her head. She has thought about this. So you did it.
You're making me rethink my whole last 25 years here, Ed.
Ed tends to do that to people.
Well, he does, yeah.
Well, I think this is where you have to put on the Carol Channing wardrobe, glittery white fur and gauze stuff, and put lights on and come up to a microphone and say fun and foolery with the folk. Okay, there you
keep
go.
It up, Ed. I'm going to make you do another commercial just like that.
That's right. That's right.
Be careful what you ask for.
I'll ask so hard.
This one's going to have video though.
Oh dear. Well, that's the problem. And the problem I've discovered with Hollywood, they didn't discover me when I was young and virile and had knees that worked. They waited till I was old and decrepit and couldn't get up off the mat after they knocked me down. And then they said,
On that note, I think we'll let Doug go for that.
Yeah, because it's only going to go downhill from here. You know that.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I've been on this ship before. Yeah, it goes down fast.
I love it.
This is great. Really enjoyed
I'm glad you enjoyed it because I've always wanted to meet you and talk to you about your books and stuff. And you can see the gaming guys, the guys that we deal with, Eric Boyd and Stephen Shin, we game with them. We room together when we go to Gen Con, that kind of stuff. So they had questions for you too, which is great. But let's do this again. Soon, right. As soon as Ed lets me know when he's not traipsing around the world.
Okay. I have a traipse in the first week of November, and then my boss at my day job has told me firmly that I can't go anywhere else until the new year. I certainly can't have any time off in December, or she will personally kill me. So,
perfect.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you're about to get snowed in anyway, aren't you, Ed?
Yeah.
You see, that is the Ontario I grew up in. The
Not
Ontario
now.
of 8 feet of snow. What the Ontario I live in now is the Ontario of, hey, it's cold out here, fellas, as you stride naked into the snowstorm with your cold beer in hand. Pretending that we're like strong Northerners and we can take this. But yeah, we don't tend to have the snow we used to have when I was a kid.
Okay.
It's kind of Wisconsin too.
Yeah. I think we're...
So Tracy and Margaret used to organize a Dragonlance Readers Theater we did at Gen Con in Milwaukee, probably 5 or 6 years in a row.
Yeah.
A big theater. Curtis Smith would run the lights, and I always played the Flint the Dwarf. And
that was great.
And did you talk like a dwarf?
Hurry, you doorknob! He's talking to Tasselhoff. Yeah, he's always griping at Tasselhoff. But anyway, that'd be kind of fun. But please keep me in mind.
Okay,
This was a blast. I've never had as
Glad
much.
you liked it. We're really, really glad that you came, Doug.
Yeah, Ed is kind of a font, in case you haven't noticed.
He
Oh,
is.
yeah.
He is.
Oh yeah.
Is that what we're calling it now?
Oh, that's a polite term.
Yeah.
He is a font, and then
Oh,
he's
I've been
also
on-
the
I've been
fountain of
in-
youth.
Several panels with Ed at conventions through the years, and he is the what do they say? The straw that stirs the drink.
That's
Sure, yeah.
He's the monkey in the wrench, is what he is.
That's right. Okay, well, gentlemen, I use the term loosely.
Yeah.
This has been fun, and yeah, let's talk soon.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll let you know. Thank you. Thanks a lot for doing
Thanks,
this with
Doug.
us,
Yeah,
Doug.
Jeff.
Thanks,
Doug.
Doug. Great to
meeting you for
see
the
you.
first time.
Eric,
in person.
nice to see that Eric actually has a face.
That's,
Yeah, all
Is
right.
it still on? Oh, good.
It's still
Sometimes
on.
It gets loose and slides
Still
off.
on.
Right. Good night, you guys.
I'll see you guys
Okay.
later.
Bye,
Good night.
guys. Good night.
Bye.
Good night.